So this journey is leading us into a different state of being. So it's a different state of living, a different state of life, which is on this same platform. You are in the same space, you're holding the same space, but the perception of everything is completely different. You lose all the stories are gone, and you come into a very pinpointed perception of time and matter and energy. It's into the now is the best way that I can explain it. Um, and rising, during this spiritual rising or spiritual awakening, we are being awakened into the moment. We're being awakened into the place where all of the stories fall away, where the stories, there is nowhere else to go. The stories can't satisfy you anymore. And you are kind of forced through this awakening and forced through yourself and forced to face things and accept complete acceptance in how things are. And then you perpetually come into the perpetual as is, the perpetual now, the perpetual moment in which you have power, where the stories are not satisfying anymore, where the stories are completely gone and there is only the story and of this moment, which this moment is where your life power is. So you quit hiding from yourself and you quit going off into the loops in your mind, and you quit being avoidant of yourself. You quit looking for the outs. You quit looking for the addictions to run away or hide from yourself. It's where your mind comes into a complete solitude. Quiet. Everything becomes quiet, and then it's like you're just perpetually held in a place where nothing is set in stone. There are no constraints. You are out of the box. um, there Nothing is in a state of absolute, because everything is in constant consistent change. And we know this in our mind, but there's an inner knowing. It comes much deeper to the levels of um, complete and total acceptance of what is in the moment. And not only complete and utter acceptance, awe. You're It's magnificent. You don't have those clinging things need to be in a certain way. And then you can just become a witness of how things are. And you can see very easily the cause and effect that has created everything that has come into existence. And you just start watching it. You can watch it and you can be in awe of it. And you're in that perpetual place of existence. So it's this twin flame journey slash spiritual awakening slash twin flame journey. It's a spiritual awakening. It can be via the twin flame journey. But the spiritual awakening, once on that path of the spiritual awakening, this is where we're being brought into. This is where all things come into one. This is where all of the timelines collapse into a place that is serene. It's like being and knowing that you are completely safe. You completely belong. You are completely worthy. You know that you are a part of all of this magnificence, and that there is room for you, and that there is no absence in the world. That absence is just your perception of what should be. If you don't have a perception of what should be, then there is no absence, right? So you come into that place, and when you come into that place, you become completely strong and understanding, and you also see existence in a complete different from a complete different point of view. You see existence from a place of um, nothing is random. And then and not only nothing is random, nothing is set in stone. So when you come into this place of power, you come into knowing your own power, your own God power. You align yourself with God, and then you have the power of the Almighty with you in creation, because you're creating with the Almighty, you're creating with God, you're creating with cause and effect, you're creating from a place of power and not a place of fear. You're creating from a place of knowing that you are worthy, and also a place of letting go, because if something is not going how you want it to go, then it's not there, it's inaccurate. um, you can't force things to be where they're not going to be. And that is something that also on this twin flame journey, some of the realizations that we're pushed into and forced into accepting and understanding, also on the spiritual awakening, during the spiritual awakening. You get to a point where there's nowhere to go. You're cornered and you have to face it. And once you face it, that is when you're able to face your own self, your own demons, your own fears. You're not hiding from life anymore. You start getting excited about life. Like, what can I do? How can I create? Now I have the power. But it's a shift. It's a shift. We're getting more and more glimpses of that place and more understanding of that place. And that's why it's important for me to bring this video forward as I'm in this place. Because I still have those impurities that are holding me down from completely being in this place at all times. I still have those insecurities and the core wounds that tell me that I'm not enough, that I keep on falling back down into, to do the work again, to have the ego death again. And then I come up a level and I'm getting more and more. It would be nice if it could just be a switch like that, but our automatic is so strong that it takes a while to change those neurological paths in your mind. You have certain ways of thinking that are automatic, and they are used to just coming up when in specific situations. And when you start retraining your mind and you start realizing, wait, that's wrong. That's what all these stories that keep on coming, I keep on saying, let go of the stories. Because these stories are what comes up in your mind, the stories that you tell yourself about yourself, the stories that you tell yourself about your worthiness, the stories that, the perspectives that you're living by, thinking that you're less than, and so your automatic comes up. It's like those stories start falling away because you start seeing that they're false. They're false. They're not set in stone. They can change in every moment. There is nothing. Everything is in vibration. Everything is in constant movement. There is no current moment. By the time you are able to conceive the current moment, it's already gone and past. And if you stop time, everything would implode, explode. There wouldn't be existence. There is nothing that is set in stone. Even stone is evolving with time. It just has a longer process. So imagine that those molecules that got caught in stone, now they have a contract to be a stone for millions of years before they can disperse and become something else, become of this body or become of life. So you look at it, every single molecule, every single atom that is in our body is lucky because they are still vibrant. They're able to experience this experience, go back into the earth and come up as something new. They're in the toss up. They're in the mishmash. Whatever's in stone is stuck there for perhaps millions of years before it gets its limelight. So you can also look at that as we're getting our limelight. This is this specific existence limelight now, not to waste it on, oh, why does he not want me? Oh, I'm worthy. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here. And I am individual and I'm unique and I am the only one. And so are every single one of you have the God aspect going through you. You are the only one with your specific DNA. You're the only one that went through that was born with your nature and your specific makeup of your specific parents in that specific way and brought up in the specific way that you were brought up that gave you all of these different intricate um, um, parts of your personality that make up the you, and 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 now the work is that we're going inward and we're really starting, it's like taking a fine-tooth comb and we're starting to brush out all of the circuits that got all haywired throughout the years from all sorts of traumas and belief systems and consensuses and insecurities and things we were taught in school that constrained us. And as slowly as we lift ourselves out of that, it's like we're starting to fly. It's like all of a sudden you get to this place where everything just is. You're kind of in this perpetual constant and everything is moving and nothing is absolute. And you have all the power in your life there and you are in pure bliss because you are in yourself looking outward. You're not in your mind thinking of all the stories and making the outward match your inward. You are becoming that witness. You're becoming completely aware and in the moment and of pure consciousness. And when you're able to get more, as we're going through the spiritual awakening, we can feel that we're coming towards that point. We can start with, as we get closer to that point, which is like over the threshold or through the loophole or through the portal or being born again. When you get, the closer you get to that place, the more you get the glimpses of that place until we permanently move over into that existence, because we've done enough of the work that we are able to, like Abraham Hicks says, rise above. You rise to a certain point and it's like you're not being held underwater anymore. So it's like if we just let go, we would rise automatically to that point. But we have all of these things that we're still caught up on, all of these things that we have set in stone in our belief system, all of these expectations of how things are supposed to be. And if they're not, then I'm at loss and I'm not happy. There is, all of that are the stories, the stories. I can't emphasize this enough. The stories, all of those stories we keep falling into. And the thing is when we're in the stories, we're crying that we want out of the stories. But when we're really in the stories, we could sit down and meditate. When we're really in the stories, we take comfort in the stories and we keep going into the stories. We allow ourselves to like indulge in the stories and going down that same track that everything is exactly as it has to be. And part of that is also the journey. You have to go into those stories to be able to pull out of the stories. You have to go into the stories to recognize that there are stories. And so it's all inseparable, but it's not getting caught. It's allowing yourself, you get to the dead end. Don't keep obsessing over the story. You say you get to the dead end of the story, which is facing the mirror, facing your fears, facing what is. The story is invalid. The story is invalid. The story does not, it doesn't make up the future. And it's very difficult to do because the stories are so real. The stories feel like they are alive, but the stories are not alive. The only thing that is alive is you and what you make of your life in every single moment. And the future isn't alive. It's just a projection. And we always project like fears into the future. Like, I can't do that because of what? So thank you for watching. This was a really good one. I'm happy to be able to bring this from this state of being. And even if it is just showing that there is this other dimension, this alternative way of being, it's like all of the dimensions are living simultaneously on the same platform. It's just that we have to be able to choose and pass through to whatever, to the new dimension, to the new world, you can say, or to that higher frequency, higher vibration. I know that there's a lot of 3D and 5D being thrown around. I don't really know exactly what that means. If anybody has like a really good explanation, I know what it means, but I haven't found why those words are used for it. The way I see it is just moving into a higher vibrational dimension of heaven on earth where you are in an awakened state. When you're in an awakened state, you are your God power. So, sending you guys so much love. Thank you for watching again and again and again. I really appreciate it. For more in-depth things, of actually going through this process, I have a Patreon. I will start putting a link once I have enough uploaded to there. I will put a link. It's where you can see me actually going through the processes, actually going through the pain, alchemizing the pain, telling the stories of my own personal um, uh, experiences of this, of the spiritual awakening, of the twin flame journey, all of my thoughts and contemplations I put on there, things that I feel are very personal and more intimate, and how I get to some of the realizations that I get to. I talk things out, and so anybody that's going through it can hear talking through it, which can be helpful for whoever is caught in those stories and in that pain, to work your way out of it. A lot of times, if I go back and hear myself, I can detach from the story and I can see the archetypes in it, or I can understand what I'm understanding again and get lifted up. So I'm inviting you guys to that, which will be up hopefully in the next few days. That's where I'm taking my focus back to now. Um, and just doing the best that we can. We're doing the best that we can. We're all in this together. There is a collective consciousness that is going through this as divine feminine. We're going through this together. And it is an honor and a privilege to be part of it. So that we always have to look at. So thank you so much. Sending you guys so much love.